Is it working?
Can you see us?
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, you are live.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Sorry I had to jump in here. Technical support. I have nothing to do with this. I'm going to turn over to these two lovely ladies. Enjoy.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. It's Haven here. And Ali, she is going to be our special guest, and she will be leading you all in our session 2 of July Apothecary guide and journey into this beautiful meditation. It's going to be an amazing time. Thank you all for your patience while we were handling those technical difficulties. We appreciate it. And now that we all got it situated, we can begin. And before I pass on the baton and leave you guys in such good hands, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about our amazing guests. So first and foremost, thank you for being here with us and in this space. We're so excited to learn from you. And Ali is an intuitive quantum healer, she is an evolutionary, she is an astrologer, and she is a mentor. And her main goal in all of her practices is to bring women back into their alignment, which we all love here at Sage Goddess. So we're so excited to just hear your wisdom and learn your magic.
Thank you.
You guys will be diving into a beautiful journey. We'll be focusing on Circe. You guys will be learning and working with your herbs and your oils. Given her wisdom and background in astrology as well, she will be touching on the asteroid Circe and how there's that point that kind of helps you in terms of transformation. And I'm not the expert on that, but she is. So she'll be giving you guys much more knowledge on that. But before we begin, I just wanted to introduce our lovely guests and tell you all that this is going to be an amazing class. Thank you for joining us. And yeah, let's hear it for Ali. Now to you.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Have a great journey.
Thank you. Thanks for the introduction.
Always.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me in your beautiful community. It sounds like you have a wonderful, incredible group of individuals, and you are all delving and diving into deepening your spiritual practices, your magical practices, your apothecaries. So I'm honored to be here in the month, well, we're just outside of July, but in the beginning of August, but in the month of Circe, who is such a powerful goddess. And so I'll be talking a little bit about Circe and her archetype and what she represents and how we can really incorporate that the magic that she holds, the wisdom that she bestows within our own natal chart, and how we can work with that asteroid to really deepen into our transformative process. So I have some notes down here because there's a lot I want to cover. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm doing. But I'd like to just take a moment to drop in together. I know that this is a community, so it's anytime I'm teaching a workshop or a class, I think it's nice to, especially virtually, just take a moment to connect with one another. So if you can just take a moment to close your eyes and just feeling yourself within this time and space. Imagining that we're all held within a circle, even including those who cannot be live today, including them in the circle, whoever's watching the replay. And just taking a moment to connect with the person on your left and on your right, feeling the power and the beauty of connection, of community. Knowing that this space is sacred, that it's been blessed, that anything that comes forward today through your own journeying will be fully processed down and into the earth beneath you. Imagining a big, powerful grounding cord in the middle of the circle, connecting to the center of the earth, Feeling the force of this cord, of this grounding force. Knowing and trusting that whatever comes forward will be fully released. That you are protected and you are held within this space. Good. Just feeling the protection. Maybe inviting in a plant that you like to work with, a cleansing plant. It could be rosemary, it could be sage, cedar, frankincense. Inviting that into the space and feeling the force and the protection of this plant ally. Good. Feeling the grounding cord at the base of your own spine. And just feeling your energy begin to settle in. Noticing any areas of tension or tightness and just inviting them to soften, finding your place within this space. Good. And when you feel ready, making your way back to your body, back to the present moment, following my voice, and opening your eyes. All right, welcome back. All right, so I am an intuitive healer, a quantum healer, and a somatic practitioner. I'm also an astrologer and a mentor, so there are a lot of different modalities and practices that I utilize in my work, and I really love bringing the physical into the practices that we have. So plant medicine, all the different plants that we can utilize, the things that really ground and anchor us into this time and space are so helpful because we have so much that we're doing on a daily basis that we really want to and need to connect back into the physical. So all of the practices that we have, if you're someone who channels or someone who meditates, it's so important to really connect with the body and connect with the earth when utilizing practices. So I'll go a little bit into, I know you guys have done a deep dive on Circe, so it sounds like you have the foundational knowledge around her, so I'm not going to go in depth about the mythology and her archetype, but I want to just touch on a few things because it really weaves into this whole concept of transformation and alchemy and transforming our wounds into our medicine and seeing our wounds, our inner poison, as our medicine. And that's something that's really, really important now more than ever in this time and space on this planet, because we're being asked to evolve and change and shift in so many ways that are quite confronting. And if you are on this planet, okay, you haven't done anything with Circe, so I just want to make sure, are they? Okay. All right. So there's apparently there's some worksheets too that have a lot of information around her, but I'll go into some of the facts. So in Greek mythology, she is the daughter of Helios, who is the sun god. She really represents earth medicine. She represents, she's a plant ally. So she works with plants very deeply, and she's really skilled at manipulating herbs and potions. One of her sort of signature moves is transforming people who have wronged her or people who are in deep need of healing into animals. So she carries the imprint of transformation within her medicine. She's a sorceress. She's one of the first Greek goddesses to be labeled as a sorceress, or to even talk about working with magic, specifically in the form of potions and herbs and plants. So what's interesting is that she really represents possibility and magic and mastery. she is deeply related to the practice of magic and transformation, and the fact that we can transform things that we might see as dark or dense or poisonous into purity. So her name actually means circle. So that's also why I wanted to include everyone in a circle today, to really honor the circle and the magic of circle. And what's interesting is the word pharmacy is actually associated with Circe. So if we think about a pharmacy, it holds both poison and medicine. So that's sort of what her archetype embodies, is this idea that our poison can be medicine, and that sometimes medicine can be poisonous as well. So a little bit on the backstory: when Odysseus's men come to her island Aiaia, they actually get turned into pigs. So she was, I can't speak for her, but the story goes that she was feeling threatened. She was feeling like they were operating from their ego. They were operating from their wounding. They were operating from a place of entitlement. And so what she does is she turns them into animals. And what that actually does is it's a purification process for them. As the story goes, they come out of it actually more pure and more refined and more distilled than they did in the beginning. So it's very interesting. So when we look at astrology and Circe, and astrology in particular, she's an asteroid. And so when we use asteroids in astrology, they're a more refined placement that we can work with within our own natal chart. And with every placement, if you're not familiar with astrology, we have all of these different placements within our own natal chart. And all of the different placements tell us where energy is held in our lives and how it will manifest. So it can be so helpful for us to understand more deeply where our placements are and how we can work with them. And so when we think about, there are many different asteroids, there's hundreds of asteroids, and they all can be found in different areas of the chart. Circe, the asteroid Circe, is one that isn't as commonly used, but can be so powerful in understanding more about who we are, what we came here to do, what we came here to embody, and how we can align with and work with the energy that's manifesting in our lives. So I practice evolutionary astrology, which is a focus on the evolution of the soul through this lived experience. And this really helps us understand why we're here and how we can work with the energy that's manifesting in order to create more alignment, to create more flow, to create more ease and transformation within our lives. So we can look at each and every placement within our chart, whether it be a planet, the sun, the moon, an asteroid, the lunar nodes. We can work with these placements to bring more healing into our lives, more transformation. And what's interesting about Circe, the asteroid, it actually shows us where we have great potential for transformation, both internal and external personal transformation. It's also where we can overcome limitations. So there's so much available to us when we're talking about Circe, the asteroid, and because it's not an asteroid that we use commonly. Like if you pull your chart in astro.com, or if you have astrology software, you'll have to actually go and select Circe because it's not one that gets pulled automatically. And I see Circe and Chiron very related. Although they're two totally different archetypes, they actually inform similar things within our lives. And we're actually we're in a Chiron return right now, which is so wild. So Chiron went retrograde. Chiron went retrograde in July. And so we're in a deep portal of healing currently, which is why it's a really powerful time to work with Circe's energy, because the poison, the wounds, the pain points are very present for all of us right now. And if you're not feeling that, that's wonderful. And it really depends on where Circe lands in your chart. So to work with Circe as an asteroid, as a placement within the natal chart, we're really looking at how, where we have power around transformation, where we have opportunity to really access deep and profound transformation within our lives, where we have access to alchemy to transform our wounds into our medicine. So it also can show us where we hold feelings of isolation and exile, which is another characteristic of Circe, the archetype, Circe, the goddess, is that she was exiled, she was isolated. And even in modern times, she's been isolated as a dangerous sorceress, and so there's a lot of this sort of like the war on the feminine, the war on witchcraft, the war on the feminine being and embodying the feminine power. And a lot of the characteristics of her energy are that of female seduction and being able to utilize your beauty and your power in a way that creates change. So when we look at Circe as an asteroid, it really shows us where we can utilize our power to overcome limitations, to transcend wounding, to transcend limiting beliefs, to create more flow and ease and freedom in our lives. It can also, like I said, it can show us where we hold feelings of isolation or exile or even loneliness, where we need to be more aware of potential manipulation, deception, illusion. That's another characteristic of Neptune as well, is this feeling of having illusion, around certain things. So I see Circe in relation to Neptune sometimes as well, as where we hold illusion. So when we're working with that, we can really think about where it lands in our chart. Number one, anytime we're working with astrology, we're looking at, of course, we have the archetypes, and we have the archetypes, we have the characteristics of the archetypes, but then we all work with them in very individual ways. That's, the magic of this work, is that we might feel or resonate with something more deeply than someone else, or it might manifest within our lives in a different way than someone else. And that's really the power of alchemy. That's the power of magic. That's the power of will in a lot of ways. So when we think about this, it can really, like I said, it can represent where we feel isolated, alone, exiled. It can show where we hold the power of transformation, where there's a lot of potential for transformation. It can also represent the power of illusion, creativity, art, magnetism, self-expression, hidden talents, and untapped potential as well. So there's a lot here to work with. And the fun thing about astrology, and the fun thing about all of this really, is you can go as deep into it as you want. So you can really go into the archetype of Circe, the goddess, and invite her into your practices, invite her into your magical practices, into your apothecary, which is so cool because, pharmacy is, the word pharmacy came from Circe, and apothecary is so connected into pharmacy as well. So, but this placement, so you can go as deep into this work as you want, basically. If you really connect with the archetype Circe, I invite you to dive into your chart. You can pull your natal chart on astro.com. It's astro.com. I like to use astro.com because you can really go into expanded selections, which is where you can pull your asteroid Circe. So if you go there and you go to free horoscope, and then you scroll down into expanded, you'll go into the asteroids and you'll choose asteroid 34, which is Circe. And this will show you where it lands in your chart. And so you can listen to this again and really integrate it more deeply if you have your chart pulled. And it will show you what house she lands in. So I'm going to go a little bit over the houses and how you can work with Circe within these houses. So the first house is the house of identity. It's the body. In astrology, it's we have pieces of pie, slices essentially, or pizza slices. And the first house is always on the left side. It begins right here under the ascendant. The ascendant begins the first house. In the first house, whatever you have there, it's a really strong placement for whatever that lands there. It's tied to identity. It's tied to the body. It's the house of Aries. So it has this sort of creative energy that comes. It's like the creation of life, essentially. It's new beginnings. And when Circe lands in the first house, it's all about transformation of identity and not being tied to one specific identity, but being open to significant shifts in your self-image and how you present yourself through life. It can also mean you're deeply charismatic and magnetic. Having the archetype of Circe in your first house can definitely create a sense of magnetism. That's also true for people who are Scorpio risings as well, who have Scorpio in the first house. In the second house, it's all about the transformation of values. So you might undergo a lot of change around how you view and work with your value system, money, how you take care of yourself, what you truly value. In the third house, it's all about transformation around communication. Your communication style might evolve significantly over time. You might be very persuasive. You might be good at public speaking, law, being a lawyer, something like that, that really allows you to work with that magnetic energy of Circe. In the fourth house, it's the transformation of family dynamics. So you might undergo a lot of different shifts and changes around your family dynamics, specifically your family of origin, or the family that you create later in life, either friends or children, spouses, your family unit, your community, even if that's your family. And it's just really about a lot of significant changes. So there's a lot of power within Circe fourth house placement to change your circumstances, to change, where you came from and how you interact with that. In the fifth house, it's all about creativity and play. So you might have this powerful magnetism around how you create. You might be a very expressed actor, actress, performer of some sort. You might have a magnetism towards romantic relationships. You might be someone that loves to be in love, that loves to go through the roller coaster of chemistry and of connection. Your approach to work and service might be unconventional if it's in the sixth house. So if Circe lands in the sixth house, it's all about the transformation of work and service. The sixth house is related to Virgo, so having Circe in the house of Virgo is an interesting one because it's definitely going to push you to embody your magnetism more and more. You might be drawn to helping others through their own transformative processes. You might be a space holder, a therapist, someone that's really able to hold space and to help other people transform. It's also connected to your well-being. It's connected to practices and rituals around self-care. So you might be someone that's really into that or uses a lot of potions, oils, plants to take care of yourself. You might be someone that has a big apothecary if you have Circe in the sixth house. In the seventh house, it's all about relationships. So you really came here to transform through your relationships, which is the case for all of us, is that we transform through relationships. We transform through connection. And so if you think about the power of utilizing our relationships to transform, to see every person as a mirror, to grow and change and evolve rapidly within them, it also means how you view relationships will change a lot throughout your life. It also means you're a very magnetic and attractive person too. You might really attract mates or partners, or be someone that likes to always have someone to date, or deeply in the dating realm. In the eighth house, it's a very, very powerful placement for Circe because she is sort of scorpionic in nature already. That's the house of Scorpio, the eighth house is. And so it's really about transformation, death, rebirth. We go through the death and rebirth process through all transformation. A part of us, an aspect of us, a belief, something has to die in order for transformation to occur. And so that's something important to remember if you have that placement there. In the ninth house, it's all about beliefs. This is the house of teacher and student, so it's about learning. It's the house of Sagittarius, so it's really about exploring, experimenting, learning. It's philosophical, it's spiritual beliefs. If it's in the 10th house, that's the house of career, so you might go through a lot of different career changes in your life. You might go through all of the different ideations of what you want to do and how you want to bring your medicine to the world. It also means that you'll probably be someone who uses your own lived experiences, your own medicine, your own wounds to help others. So there might be a lot of upheaval and change in what you do and how you do it, but there will be a common theme around being someone who utilizes their own pain and their own wounds to create medicine for yourself and for others as well. And the 11th house it's really the house of community, of friendships. It's interesting because when we think about the 11th house, it's the house after career, obviously. So it's where you start building community. It's where you start building a sense of identity within a group. And so this might affect like the type of friends you attract. You might have a lot of upheaval and change in your friendships or in your community. You might move communities a lot. You might outgrow communities, or you might be within a group or a friend group for a period of time until you've learned what you need to and then move on. It also means that you might be a leader. You might have magnetism that creates great potential for leadership and for speaking and for being listened to and heard. So, and then the 12th house is also a very strong placement for Circe because she embodies and represents transformation and change. So when we think about the 12th house, it's so connected to the unconscious. It's connected to the transformation and bringing to light what's unconscious. So it brings the unconscious to the conscious. And so it sheds a light on what's hidden to us. And so since a lot of what Circe represents is unearthing things that already exist within us and transforming them, having her in the 12th house can definitely mean that you're here to do some deep excavation work in this life. It's probably connected to past lives as well, because the 12th house is connected to past lives. So it's really clicked into where we've been and what we're leaving behind in order to evolve and grow within this life. So it also means that you might have some hidden wisdom. There might be things that you don't know about yourself. When people have 12th house placements, like their Mercury or their Sun, there's almost like an illusion, or it's hidden how you interact with the world. So people might see you as something and you're not able to see yourself as that. So you might be a great speaker, but you don't think so, and everyone else does if you have your Mercury in the 12th house. So it's very interesting. 12th house placements are fascinating. I could do a whole workshop just on those, but I just wanted to touch on those points so you guys can pull your birth chart and really check in and see where Circe lands. This is a way to deepen your practice with her. This is a way to deepen, at all of your practices. You can weave astrology into anything, really. You can weave it into your apothecary and into your magical practices. And I love it. Obviously, I work with it for a living, so it's something that I utilize a lot, but it's really fun because you can go as deep into it as you want or just skim the surface. But I encourage you to go on astro.com and pull your Circe placements. I don't know if there are some seasoned astrologers in here, but it's definitely a powerful practice to go in and even look at all of your other asteroids. Something I want to touch on before I get to the tools is Chiron is also an asteroid, and Chiron is the wounded healer. And so we're working a lot with Chiron right now. It's in Aries, it's retrograde, so it's going through a period of peeling things back, really asking for us to revisit patterns, programs, wounding, how we show up in the world, our personal sense of power, of identity, of empowerment, where we hold victim consciousness, where we rely on others to save us, where we feel like we can't save ourselves. So this is very present in the collective right now. And I think Circe is, although she's not technically related to Chiron, she can be a tool to utilize when you're working with Chiron, when you're working with your wounding. A lot of core woundings coming to the surface right now because of Chiron being retrograde, and it's also been heavily aspected this year. We've had the North Node in Aries aspecting it, and a lot of different things that are, we had some pretty significant lunar activity last month, which I'll go into, the month of July. And so there's a lot here, there's a lot of material to work with. And so Circe can be a powerful tool in enabling you to go into those wound points, because that's where the medicine really lies. And that's really my biggest takeaway and sort of like theme with Circe, is just that our greatest liberation and what we truly seek is held within our wounding. Our wounding shows us where we're holding ourselves back, where we hold limiting beliefs, where our keys to expansion are held. And so when we think about our wounding, there's so often we have a tendency to push it away or to kind of cover ourselves in it, depending on how you interact with your wounds. The important thing is that we're able to sit with it, to be with it, and to see it in order to unlock the potential that lies within our wounding. And it can be a very confronting process, looking at where we hold victim consciousness, where we feel disempowered, where we are being controlled by our wounding. And when I say wounding, I mean inner poison. Like it can our wounds can either liberate us or dominate us. They can either, hijack our lives and really control things and keep us in a box and limit our potential, or they can liberate us. And so there's so much potential held within our wombs, but we have wounds and wombs, but we have to be able to have the courage to go into it, which is where Leo comes in, and we're in Leo season, so powerful. So I just wanted to go over the astrology a little bit of July before we head fully into August, and before we talk about the tools and then go into the journey. The journey will be very in-depth. It will be a really powerful process, so I just wanted to let all of you know. And there were some questions about like saging the space. I do all of my own practices before we got on, so don't worry about that. I mean, do whatever you feel, whatever feels right for you, but I definitely do a lot of protection work before I open a space with anyone. So just to put your mind at ease. So the astrology of July was pretty wild. Really, this whole month or this whole year has been quite wild astrologically, and it's just kind of continuing and picking up more and more as we move through the year. It will continue. The last 6 months of 2024 is quite intense. It's a very powerful time in our human evolution. So when I think about July, I really think about retrogrades, and I think about the Cancer new moon that we had on July 5th and the full moon in Capricorn that we had on June 21st and July 21st. And the reason I'm bringing both of those in is because they're all interrelated. So we had 2 full moons within Cancer season, which was quite intense. It was very powerful. Once again, looking at our wounds, being able to go into them, to nurture them, to love them. I see healing work as the integration of self. So when we have these different parts that we isolate or fragment off, they rule our lives. So we have this desire to push away the things that we don't want to see or the things that we don't want to feel. But what that actually does is it gives it more power. And it creates a belief that that piece of us or that part of us needs to keep us safe or protect us. It's parts of the ego. So when we think about these core wounds, and we opened a portal on June 21st, and we had the first full moon in Capricorn, July 5th, when we had the new moon in Cancer, and then we had a bookended full moon in Capricorn on July 21st. And that was a big completion. I won't go into all the details, but part of it is because that we've been a very Capricornian time, Saturnian time. It's been asking for us to look at our limitations, where we feel stuck or stagnant, where we fight with the different aspects of ourselves. And so when the month of July was an opportunity really to look at the last 15 years, which is the transit of Pluto through Capricorn, which we're completing this year. And so it's a confronting time, which is why I'm talking about the astrology, because it gives some sort of perspective around why so much is coming up for people. So we are responsible for our wounding. And I know that can be confronting, but we came to this life to heal and transform. And Circe really teaches us that we have the power to transform and to utilize our wounds as medicine. And so taking responsibility for our actions, for our words, being able to work from a space of radical self-responsibility and self-responsibility and self-acceptance, self-compassion at the same time. This is where the power of transformation and working with our wounds and working with our inner poison really comes in. So Pluto going into Aquarius is super powerful. It's extremely powerful. We're already feeling it. It's at 0 degrees. It's going to dip back. Pluto will dip back into Capricorn from September 1st to November 15th. So we have a little bit of this. We're in a Pluto retrograde right now, but it will dip back into Capricorn. So that's going to be a revisiting of some material for sure. So there's quite a bit there. But I will leave questions for the end. And that's great information. Many of us are in our Chiron returns. That's really true. That happens around 50. So, and like the late mid 40s and 50s. So Chiron return is an incredibly powerful time. It is the integration of self. It is especially Chiron and Aries. If you have a Chiron and Aries, you are here to find your power. You are here to really be able to transmute and transcend the wounding and access your inner conscious warrior. So very, very powerful. Blessings to all of you going through your Chiron return. I have quite a few friends going through it, and it's a powerful time. So it's an initiation in a lot of ways. So talking about the tools, these tools are amazing. I haven't worked with a few of these. I love Kava Kava. I love Wormwood. I think it's so powerful. But the two I selected to really talk about most, more in depth, I should say, is Reishi and frankincense. And I actually use both of these in my practice and in my daily life. Frankincense in particular, and I love this one. This is so beautiful. The smell is so grounded and earthy. Frankincense has been used for thousands of years. It's so fascinating because it's very tied to ritual. And a lot of oils, a lot of plants are tied to ritual and have been tied to many different religions, ideologies, practices, cultures for thousands of years. And so the ancient Egyptians were using frankincense as anointing oil and as cleansing and clearing oil. Christianity has used frankincense. It's in the Bible, all these different things that really incorporate frankincense. And I use it in the resin form, but I love this oil. And I use it for purification and grounding. So I don't often work with sage just because it's not from my lineage and it is endangered. And so I like to utilize other things as well. So there's a lot that you can even look back into your lineage and look at what your ancestors used. My ancestors used a lot of rosemary and cedar. So I use that. I use a lot of frankincense, which I love. And it's incredible for purification. So there are different energy centers you can apply it to cleanse. Like if you're feeling a lot of grief in your heart, you can apply it to your heart. You can apply it to different parts of the body. I use it as just cleansing. So I pour it over energetically. I put it in my hands, or I have the resin, the smoke, and I just wash it over my crown. I work with clients in person and virtually. And it's really, really important for me to practice spiritual hygiene because I'm working with people, working with their physical bodies, and I'm working with their auric field. And energetic boundaries and spiritual hygiene is the foundation of all work, of all spiritual work. And so cleansing, grounding is super important to me. Frankincense is wonderful that. It's also, I had heard as well that it was really powerful to... what is it? I just have to think back now. But I was told at one point that it was, it represented immortality. So women would use it in ancient Egypt for anti-aging, essentially, which is so fascinating and cool. I don't know for sure if you can put it on your face. So don't take that, or maybe Google it or look it up before trying it. But it's fascinating to me. And actually there was a period of time where I was adding a tiny bit into my moisturizer. I don't do that anymore, but I feel like I've heard that before, that it's tied to anti-aging and beauty. And so that's really beautiful as well. Reishi's incredible. Reishi, I love mushrooms, number one. Mushrooms are, mycelium are connected to unconditional love, one consciousness. I think that they're healers just by being what they are and how they exist in the world. They can help us create more union within and kind of completing certain processes within our bodies, and within our energetic field. So reishi in particular, sometimes even just like sitting with it, without ingesting it first, and just sitting with what it has to offer you, sitting with what messages it has for you. It's tied to the element of air and the crown chakra and Gemini and Leo in astrology. And so what I've used reishi for is for my adrenals, because I am an energy worker. And if you are an energy worker, you know that your endocrine system, and particularly your adrenals, can really take a hit, because we're constantly running energy through our bodies. If you're someone who's highly sensitive, if you're someone who channels a lot or even meditates a lot, your adrenals really might need some extra support. Just being on the planet right now, honestly, is a lot. So it supports the adrenal glands and reduces inflammation, which is something that I'm always working with. I have Lyme disease, so it's something that I'm always working with, the inflammatory processes within my body, boosting the immune system, even alleviating stress, which is another reason why I've taken reishi, is that it's very calming. It can really work with the nervous system too, to create have a calming effect, essentially. So, and one of the fascinating things is, because we're talking about the feminine, we're talking about the goddesses, we're talking about even immortality and beauty and magnetism. It really works with harmonizing hormones, which is something that's so important for all of us, of course, but especially women, because we have very complex hormonal systems. And in order to take care of those things and to keep everything balanced, we might need extra support sometimes. So reishi energetically is such a beautiful mushroom. It's also pretty. The mushroom itself is so beautiful. I think mushrooms are stunning. And I really like to sit with the energy of a plant before I start working with it. So I don't know, that might be part of your practices. But yeah, it's really cool to sit with the energy, the frequency of the plant. Just sit with it in your palm and just connect with it energetically, psychically, and just ask if it has any messages for you. You can also do muscle testing if you want, to see if it should be incorporated now or how it wants to be incorporated. But I think reishi is really beautiful and so wonderful. And there's so much history around it too. Yeah, mushroom tea, reishi is so beautiful. I think a lot of people, take it at night too. I used to drink a mushroom, like a reishi cacao. So hot chocolate, but cacao can be a little stimulating. So maybe just, checking in with your body and how that feels. But it can also balance the stimulation too. I think reishi can. So anyway, there's a lot there that's really powerful. I love that you guys have access to these. Kava kava is also amazing as well. I've done that when I've had some pretty significant traumatic events in my life, or things that I needed a lot of support in repairing. I've utilized kava kava. It's great for the nervous system, and also really creates this harmonizing effect within the heart. So yeah. If you guys have any questions, wow, that's amazing. You rubbed frankincense on your tumors with a carrier oil. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah. And I'll go through at the end and just answer a few questions, but I feel like I would love to, meditate with reishi. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, and you can, it's nice that you guys have it in powder form, because you can really, there's so many different uses. You can apply it in a lot of different ways. So I'd love to go into the journey. So I'm just going to give you guys a minute or two to get comfortable. It's up to you. You can sit up, maybe with like a bolster underneath you. You can sit on the floor. You can lie down. I typically lie down when I'm journeying, but that's just me. So it's totally up to you guys. I'll just give you a moment to get comfortable. We're shifting gears a little bit, moving from information to journeying. Okay. So just taking a moment to get comfortable, closing your eyes. I'll be walking you through a grounding meditation. So just letting yourself begin to settle in. Gently closing your eyes, finding your center. And inviting in some deep belly breaths in through your nose, filling up your belly and your chest, and breathing out through your mouth. Beginning to feel yourself sinking deeper and deeper. Continuing with these deep breaths as you bring all of your attention down to the base of your spine. Connecting a grounding cord, a tree trunk, a root, however it comes to you, just connecting this cord to your root chakra, to the base of your spine. And watching as it grows all the way down through the many layers of the earth, cracking through each layer, through the crystals, the minerals, through the rivers that flow beneath us, and all the way down into, through, and around the center of the earth. Feeling this anchor, this cord pulling you deeper and deeper. Noticing the shift within your body. What it feels like to be really held by the earth. Anchored and supported. Feeling this innate connection. Remembering that you are of the earth. And just feeling as this cord, like a vacuum, begins to pull anything from your body or your field that isn't serving. Any tension, stress, or worry, anyone else's energy that you're carrying. Maybe any conversations you've had with people that you're wanting to clear. Just feeling this softening, this lightening within your body. Letting go and dropping deeper, deeper, and deeper into union with the earth. Letting it really hold you. And just observing what's leaving and from where. Just letting it go. And then bringing your attention down to your feet, growing a grounding cord from each foot. Once again, through the many layers of the earth, cracking through each layer. And traveling all the way down into, through, and around the center core. As it moves through all the layers of the earth, feeling this pull deeper and deeper into union with the mother. Feeling as the earth holds and cradles you as a mother would hold her child. Feeling your whole nervous system beginning to uncoil, feeling as you begin to invite up through the cords at your feet the energy from the heart, the center of the earth. As it travels up and into the bottoms of your feet, into your ankles, calves, your knees and thighs, down into the cord at the base of your spine. And just feeling yourself held within this space. Feeling your legs getting heavier as they feel the safety from the connection with the earth. Feeling your whole central channel, your nervous system, your spine beginning to uncoil, untwist. Feeling your nerve endings spreading out. Feeling all of the processes in your body beginning to return to equilibrium as they feel this sense of safety and connection with the earth. Feeling your entire central channel uncoil all the way up to your crown. And feeling your crown open. Welcoming in the source light from the center of the universe, the most pure white source light. As it enters into your crown, pouring through your spine and all the way into your pelvic floor, into the bowl that's holding the earth energy in this space. And then feeling these two energies, the earth and source, combine together, creating the perfect ratio for you. Maybe you need more grounding today. Maybe you need more inspiration, more energy, more activation. Just letting it intuitively combine. Trusting what's occurring. Knowing you don't have to effort, but simply trust. And then pulling these energies up and into each center, starting at your root energy center. Feeling your root open and expand. Up and into your sacral, just beneath your belly button. Into your solar plexus. Into your heart. Up into your throat. Into your jaw, your teeth, your sinuses, your psychic channels, your nose. Up into your third eye, the space between your brows. Up into your crown, where it pours out and around you, connecting down beneath your feet. Feeling yourself held within the space. Anchored by earth, connected to source, held and supported. And just noticing what it feels like to be in this space. Knowing that whatever comes forward today to be witnessed will be fully processed down beneath you into the cord at the base of your spine, all the way into the center of the earth where it's transmuted. Just imagining that you're standing in the middle of a forest. Hearing your name being called off in the distance. Beginning to walk towards the call. Deeper and deeper. Deeper into the forest until you reach a giant sacred oak tree. Noticing a door on the tree. Opening the door and beginning to walk down the stairs. Down, down, down. Deeper and deeper with each step, feeling your body begin to soften more and more. Letting go. Until you reach the bottom. Opening the door at the bottom of the stairs and walking out into another forest. Noticing how this forest feels different. Taking in the different trees, the different plants. Maybe there are beings or animals or guides within this space. Just observing, noticing, witnessing what's here. As you walk deeper into the forest, you notice a shore, a beach. Hearing the call again of your name. Off in the distance, into the ocean. You notice a boat on your left, a small rowing boat. Feeling yourself being pulled to the boat. So you begin rowing out into the ocean. Feeling the gentle waves rippling on the shore as you push out. Finding how easy it is to move the oars, how easy it is to travel through the water. Feeling a pull on the boat, helping you along. Noticing any thoughts coming into your mind. Any resistance, simply observing it. Noticing what it's saying, where it's coming from, just watching. when you see an island appearing in the distance, as you get closer and closer to it, feeling the pull become stronger, helping you along through the water. When you reach the shore of the island, taking a look around, noticing the beauty, the power of this place, the synchronicity, how it feels that you've been called here. As you get out of the boat, walking around, noticing the flora and the fauna, the energy of this island, who and what is here. Noticing a set of stairs carved into the rock. As you begin to ascend, walking up the stairs, to a temple. This beautiful temple overlooking the ocean. Smelling of frankincense and myrrh. As Circe enters the temple and stands before you, just taking in her appearance, what she looks and feels like, how she carries herself. Taking a moment to connect with her, maybe asking if she has a message for you, anything you need to know to aid in your transformative processes. I'm just asking her, what is the greatest wound that needs to be transformed here and now in order to grow, shift, and evolve into the next chapter of your life, to embody your greatest power, your highest self. And seeing to your left, this version of you, the wounded version, the version that feels ashamed, not good enough, whatever the wound is, just letting her come forward. Just observing this version of you. seeing how she interacts with her wounds, how she operates from her wounds. Where she's maybe unconscious of how she's letting her wounds run her life. Just taking in his or her appearance. Sitting with the discomfort. And noticing that Circe begins to instruct you to send energy from your heart to this aspect of you. Noticing how it begins to transform. As it's witnessed and seen, loved, it begins to change. Just taking this in, seeing the power and the beauty of this transformation. Reminding this part, this wound, this wounded aspect that she's loved, she's cared for, she's accepted. And seeing how this part begins to transform into your higher self. Taking in her appearance. How she's been informed by your wounds, by the wounded aspect, to become stronger, more confident, more aware. Just sitting with this higher aspect of you, this higher self. Knowing that you always have access to this part of you. She's always available. She's not separate. And just feeling as this version of you begins to merge with your energy body. Integrating this wounded aspect, integrating your higher self, feeling as they begin to transform your present self. Circe is the guide, feeling this inner transformation an external transformation occur. Just taking a moment to thank your different parts, to thank Circe for this space, for her power, for her inspiration, for her wisdom, for her support. Asking if there's anything else that you need to know. And when it feels complete, giving gratitude to the temple. And beginning to make your way back down the stairs. Seeing your boat waiting for you. Getting into your boat and beginning to row back to the shore where you began. Noticing what feels different about you. And bringing compassion to any of the thoughts. As you reach the other shore, feeling the integration that's taken place. Maybe when you look down, your hands look different, your legs look different, your feet look different. Traveling back through the forest. Noticing all of the creatures, the beings, the guides, the plants, the animals. And finding your sacred oak tree. Opening the door and walking up the stairs, step by step, up, until you reach the top, walking out the door, and into the forest where you began. Feeling what's different, how you have transformed. I'm calling above your crown a big golden sun. Above the top of your head, just feeling it hover right above you. I'm just asking for this sun to pull into it all of your life force and power from anywhere you've left it. Any conversations, any old timelines, relationships, just calling all of your power, all of your life force back into the sun. Making sure you're not leaving any aspects of self anywhere else. When it feels full, pouring this energy into your crown, where it lands in your pelvic floor, travels down to your feet, into your fingertips, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, all the way up to your crown. Just feeling this life force, this power settling in. Feeling it download into all of your muscles and tissues, into your bones, your blood, all the way down into your cell walls. Feeling it pour out of your skin and into your whole auric field. 4 feet around you, above and beneath you, in front of and behind you. Just taking a moment to download your power to sit within this space, recharging. Downloading the data and information. And just taking your time, returning back to this space. Moving nice and slow, inviting in movement and stretching only when you feel ready. Feeling your feet on the earth. Imagine that you're walking on the beach, on the sand. Rubbing your hands against your legs, feeling the sensation. And opening your eyes when you feel ready. Making sure you're all the way back into the space. And we'll just take a moment to open the circle, release each other so that we can move throughout our day. Just feeling and connecting with the person next to you and energetically releasing them. Feeling as you all begin to move back to your own homes, back to your body. Setting the intention to cut any psychic cords or attachments. You can use sage or frankincense, cedar, rosemary to cleanse your space. Just feeling as all the energy is released, centering back within your own being. Giving gratitude to all of your community members here for holding space, for journeying, for participating. Giving gratitude to your higher self, to your wounds, to Circe, to Earth and to Source, to the four directions. Giving gratitude to the sacred ones for the healing and the journey that's taken place, and releasing these energies as you return back to your being. Good. I'm happy to answer some questions if you guys have any, anything you'd like to share from the journey. You can put it in the chat. If you'd like to stay within this space for a little longer, it's totally fine too. See if I can go up a little bit. I don't see any questions in the chat, so I'm going to... There we go. Once again, if you guys want to... I think there's one question here, but if you want to... oh, thank you all. Oh, hug the oak tree, yes. I love that. Hug that oak tree. Even go outside and hug a tree. Trees are so grounding and rooting. But I did want to mention again, if you missed it, to pull Circe in your chart, you go to astro.com and you'll go to free horoscopes and it will give you an extended chart selections option. So you go in there and you find asteroid 34, Circe, Circe, and that will show you where it lands in your chart. It will pull your whole chart, and then you'll be able to see Circe as well. So I hope that's helpful. Yeah, I'm sending you guys lots of love and encouragement along this path. Thank you for being here. Take care.